So how long have you been out of your motherland or your fatherland?
Myself?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I left just May.
Just May, that's June, July, August, September, October. That's 5 months. So that's
all my life I've been in Nigeria.
Really? So
yes.
So you okay. So how you finding should I say disruption? Let's call it that. That's what everyone is going through.
Well, it's not very easy. I must be very honest. It's mentally tasking. But you know, as part of being an adult, the way it is, when you're an adult, disruption happens every time. When you leave primary school to secondary school, disruption. When you leave secondary school to the university, disruption. Yeah. When you leave your father's house to your own, disruption. When you marry, disruption. So, you know, it's just the stages that are different. So it's been, I mean, it feels as if I've been here for 4 years, really, because it's been fast for me.
But again, you know, the best time to make all these changes is now. You know, we're in a disruptive period. So
yeah.
So like it's not meant to, everybody is destabilized. So this is an opportunity. So you know, as if you're missing out or you're going to catch up, because everyone is going through a change. Everyone is more accommodating. Everyone understands now. So this is actually the best time to experiment. You know, and that's something that people never want to experiment, but this is now the best time to experiment, to try new things, because we're in an unknown world. So,
you've spoken like a true entrepreneur, because chaos, it's opportunity in disguise.
Yep.
That's the moment where only those who are ready to create something come out and walk through the chaos. And then when everything settles down, before everything gets busy, then the return starts to come. I mean, it's really interesting to be speaking to you, because I can imagine the different kinds of chaos that you have had to scale through in your career and in businesses. And I mean, sometimes it's easier said than done. But then I think you're right. You're right.
But you know, sometimes some people don't. The problem is when you ask some people, I remember when you ask people, or when you ask me sometimes, okay, well, tell me a challenging, tell me a challenge in your life. And sometimes you don't see those challenges, and that's the problem sometimes. So you don't even take stock. It's only maybe days later that you think. So like, I will give you a simple example. I think that, like we're a traumatized nation, Nigeria. So things that we take for granted, people don't take for granted in other parts of the world. In the UK, for example, life is more valuable. Here in Nigeria, if you see something, right, we're insensitized, but we see it so much, that will be okay. But like in developed world, it's a very big deal. They have to address it. You need to see a shrink. You need to, I mean, like, it's not in a negative way, but here we are so insensitized because of our upbringing, and because it's to be strong, you have to beg. You're not allowed to cry. That kind of thing. Like that weakness. Meanwhile, it's seen as a strength in some places. You go to UK, see somebody crying, suddenly his ratings go up. The guy is human. He's emotional. He can give. So those things.
Another one that really fascinates me is the way we view failure.
Oh yeah, So that failure is linked to experimentation. Those are one of those things, but it's how you fail. I did I think I wrote a blog once. I did a master's in chemistry, and chemistry. I mean, like I was in the lab for 300 days in the year. So it was a 1-year course. I did it after my first degree. And what did we do? We were just doing experiments, but I was failing. So if I did 150 experiments, I actually failed all of them, maybe 1 or 2. But those failures were, failure is when a real failure is when you don't document, so that other people will not fall into that same category. So you're making it easier for the people coming behind. So failure is very, very important, and we need to. And in Nigeria, we don't like to fail. In fact, failure is seen as a bad thing. But meanwhile, if you look at the journey to the moon, failed attempts, but in getting there, discovered many things. I always say also as well that the Viagra was accidental. They were actually feeling on something else, but the byproduct that they found was Viagra, which became a blockbuster drug for, I think I can't remember the pharmacy. I think it was Pfizer. that actually came up with it. So it's good to try. And sometimes it's also good to try unrelated stuff.
Yeah. And it's Nigeria as a country provides abundant opportunity to experiment and fail. However, there seems to be a stigma around failure. But before I talk too much on that, let me refresh the room. Let me refresh the room and welcome our guests. Thank you, everyone. We have over 74 people joining already. Thank you. My name is Jesse. What do you say?
On a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. What's the weather like today?
It is humid. You know, I just come back. So I was in the UK for about 3 weeks. So now I know it's normal temperature, but I'm feeling like an Oyibo person that had just come back to Nigeria. But don't worry, I will adapt very quickly. Adapt or die, as they say.
All right. Thank you. Now let me welcome our audience. You're welcome to Rise Vest Monthly Investment Club meeting. Every 30 days, we have different guests that we bring on the program. And the aim is we want to help people to become more financially literate. How you make money, how you manage your money in a very smart way, and how you multiply your money. Today, we have a guest, Uzoma Dozie, who has an impressive background working in his own career and then building businesses in Nigeria, not in a foreign country, and subjected to the same business environment like every one of us. Now that we have him here, he's going to be giving us some insight. We are ready to learn from him. Now, we want to know, how do we set up or run our business successfully in an environment like Nigeria? How are we not tapping into the best of the best that is on ground? Like, for example, a challenging atmosphere to run business is an opportunity in disguise. So it's going to help us to understand how to set up business processes and how to ensure we are marketing rightly. And then how do we handle our customers to ensure that a customer is not coming in through one door and leaving through the other. Like, as I was discussing with him before we got started, he said, as he is still on the street. He's still looking for customers. So, Uzoma, you're welcome. Can you just give us a 1 to 2 minute introduction about yourself?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rise Vest, for having me on this show. Great work that they're doing, because I think it's important that people are educated. So I'm 52 years old. I have married with over 20 years. I have a 17-year-old boy, 18-year-old girl, and Chizara, who is 11. I worked, I think, for 25 years. So like, I have a degree in chemistry. I have a master's in chemistry. I worked in I worked in a bank for 25, traditional bank for 25 years. And I was fortunate not just to work in one area, but work in areas like, business development, marketing, definitely marketing, sales and marketing, and financial controller. I was financial controller for about 3 years. And I also worked in branding and communication. So I've been fortunate to, traverse a lot of areas in banking, and also banking is such a great platform to meet different sectors like financially excluded, big corporate companies, small business, even individuals as well. And I'm also working with international companies like Visa, China organizations like Women's World Banking. And after like my last years, I ended as the last CEO of Diamond Bank, and we merged with Access Bank to create the largest bank in Africa in terms of the number of customers, and gave me a great opportunity to start Sparkle. So I think Sparkle is a digital bank, only bank, focusing on areas I think where there's great opportunity, the people of Nigeria and also the businesses of Nigeria, and of course the whole world needs to sparkle. And so we're trying to play our role in helping the world sparkle.
This is an impressive background. Thank you very much and welcome. I must say, at this very point in time, for you to have worked that much, you must really love building, because other people will probably just sell and then retire to somewhere. But now you're back, like quote and unquote, on the street, building a business from the scratch, innovating digital banking. So we know you'll have a lot of experience to share with us, that people who probably have a 9 to 5 and have a side also, or people who are building businesses in Nigeria in the same terrain, similar to the one you're building, will learn from. Now, the first question I want to ask you is this. In setting up your business, the one you're currently running, the digital bank Sparkle, how has it been? What ways have you automated your businesses, managing it so that your business can run smoothly, executing on the vision you have set up so that you can be on your way to achieving your mission? So what are the ways you've gone about it?
Okay, good question. And we are still going about it, and we're still experimenting and trying different things. But I think the most important thing is, one, is what kind of, and since I'm the founder, it's what type of environment do you want to create? Because that type of environment you create, right, is going to determine the type of people that you need. What we're doing in Sparkle is very different to do in a traditional bank, because you need different skill sets, and you also you need different mindset. And so people are very, very important. And so for us, one, it was, okay, what do you want to do? What do we want to do? We wanted to, I believe there was an opportunity to build a platform for small businesses and also individuals. Secondly, so who are the kind of people? So I was very fortunate. First thing I did was find somebody who can do everything. Find somebody who is great at project management, right? And who's great at project management. I was also fortunate that she also had the HR skills. So somebody that can manage, because it's a project. Secondly, you understand human resource and the requirements. So I was off to a good footing. Then it was getting the right people, get the right people on the bus before, the book From Good to Great, I believe it. Sometimes it's not, you have to find the right people first before you decide where you're going to. And so for us, we found, we got a great team, or I think we were just under 10 people. We got a great team of 10 people. So people are very, very key, because those people that are actually going to help build that process. And so they must understand where you're coming from. Secondly was, what kind of processes do you want? I mean, in today's day and age, I mean, what I'm going to talk about, what's going to underline a lot of my conversation is going to be information. Information is very, very key. Information about your business, information about the people that you work with, and information about your customers. So fundamentally, our business is constructed in a way that information flows from very fast, and it's also, and so that means that there must be a culture of transparency, and that culture of transparency stems from being able to express yourself so you're hiring people that can express themselves. You're hiring people that are transparent. You're also hiring people that will not be a bottleneck to information flow, because information is key. And that's so in designing the system, we leverage on technology. Anybody who doesn't leverage on technology, everybody make technology sound very, very geeky and out this way. But technology is the mobile phone that you have. Technology is also the mindset. So for us, one, we're going to be paperless, and we're going to be cashless as an organization, because we want to leverage technology. And I'll tell you a story about this. When my children were young and they were in boarding school, I gave them, I gave them debit cards so they can use it abroad. And every time they use it in a shop, right, I will get an alert, and I will know, okay, they're in Boots. So that means they must have gone to the pharmacy, or they're at McDonald's having something to eat. But every time they went to an ATM to collect cash, then I didn't know what they were going to do with the money. So I would say, okay, what are you withdrawing money for? Because that was a gap in information. And so for us, it was very important that, it's very important that, we're cashless, because cash hides information. Paper can be lost. paper also, that paper contains information that has to be physically carried to another person, so it slows down that speed of information. So before we left Mumbai, I think we were the only organization in Nigeria that was completely paperless. So once paper came into the system, we scanned it and it went through the system. So we were a mobile first economy. So like your business will be mobile, the mobile first. So that gives you the freedom to move wherever you want. And that's another part. That's another of our principles. There's transparency. There's transparency. There's freedom, and trust is about the data, right? Trust is about the data, and so there has to be trust. So those are even the three. We have about 6 values, but those 3 are very, very key. And those key are human values. They're nothing special, but it's actually how you integrate it into your business processes, into the people that you have, and also how you express it in the products and services that you deliver to your customer. So all these things, all these values, right, have to be integrated into your processes. And so at Sparkle, for example, when we do video conferencing, everybody's cameras are on. So it's not a question of my camera is off because it's a video conference. Because we want to see you. Seeing someone is information. Hearing someone is information, but seeing and hearing gives you more information so you can make better decisions. And like I said, I'll keep going back to information, but information is the basis of decision making. The faster it is, the richer it is, the clearer it is, and the simpler it is, which is one of our values, right? The better the decisions are. And decisions, even whether it's your lifestyle, whether I want to go on a holiday, whether I want to go have medical problem, or if education or even business, that's important. So that's how we set up Sparkle, and we are continuously evolving our processes to continue to improve that information flow and that feedback, and how you get information, you make a decision, you see the outcome, you feed back into that loop, and that goes for everything that we do. And it's a simple process, whether you're a small business, whether you're a big business. That is the fundamental of a business. And there's another saying that we have is big, right? Start small, act quickly. That's the problem. Sometimes we just want to just fly. Like we have a vision at Sparkle, but we're starting small. We know exactly where we want to go to with business. We know how we see ourselves inside that business, that small business ecosystem. But we have to start from somewhere, because sometimes too, you have to wait for the technology, right, to catch up, right, before you can do it. You have to wait for some. There's some things that we want to do, but we can't because the regulation is not ready. The legislation is not there yet. We have to get our politicians to act. So meanwhile, we're doing some roundabout things. So that's how we started the business. Then you add as you go. Today, we are very fortunate. Anyone who's starting a business today can start a business without actually renting office space or buying big systems. Everything is cloud-based. So like at Sparkle, we use Microsoft, and like all these are investments. If you don't make those investments when you start, it will be more expensive later. So like it is the cost of those investments when you start. Signing up to paying for Microsoft licenses, paying your tax. Tax is quite low in Nigeria if you start on time. So when you start a new business, it's a great opportunity to just have a clean, fresh start, because it means that the cost of your business going into the future is always going to be much smaller than anybody else who said, okay, you know what, I'll cut corners when I start, and when I get big, I will do the right thing. When you're trying to do the right thing, you have to change the culture, you have to even change your own culture and mindset and the cost of your business. And at that time, that's when the disruption is. That is when you might be overtaken. But meanwhile, if you start small, every time you make a change, it's just going to be incremental cost, incremental learning that allows you, right, to continue to get on without disruption. One of the great things about the UK is that we never see any big massive changes. I mean, there's a lot of technology. When you think about the bus system, is actually cardless and everything, but they do it over time. You never notice it. You just wake up one day and just think, wow, this is here. And that is a system that is based on business processes that say, we have to have minimal disruption so that we can continue producing and we can also continue to serve our customers. I don't know if that's helpful.
It's very helpful. And this is very, very insight. It bears a lot of insight. The way I feel is as if I'm in a mini MBA class. You've summarized it very well. You said you moved from paperless to ensuring that you have all data in the cloud online. So, and you said gathering of information is very good for any business, small or big, because it is that information that gives insight into what needs to be done. And of course, this information and technology you've leveraged, how does it now help to scale? If you move from paperless to having everything in a system and you do it right from the very foundation, I'm sure this contributes to being able to scale the business in the future so that the bottleneck is reduced. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, first of all, there's information and there's gut feeling. And so and that's one of the things that we know, I'm very inal about. And I speak to any of my colleagues, they know themselves, they'll tell you that data-driven decisions. We're going to take a decision based on data. So like when you come into a meeting, you just say, I think, I feel, all those things that we're used to saying. It always show me the data, because the data, right, helps you, like again, make that decision. Because for you to scale, so I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of at Sparkle today. We know that, like for us to scale, and you have to look at the economics, and that's one of the things, having a financial background also helps, is because you have to look at your fixed cost and your variable cost. Now, it's actually, I was thinking about it the other day. I know as a small business, right, you want to keep your fixed cost low and your variable cost. You want to have as low fixed cost as possible and variable cost, so that as you scale, that you grow. But as a big business, so if you look at a Dangote, they're looking at keeping their variable cost as low as possible and their fixed cost stable and their variable cost stable. Their fixed cost is very high and their variable cost is low because they built a platform. And so in scaling the business, first of all, you put those processes, the processes that you put down are the ones that, regardless of how much you put on it, right? Your cost don't go up. The number of people that you have don't increase as the number of activities start. Let me give you an example, and then give you an example that I'm concerned about. At Sparkle, and like most financial platforms today, financial service platforms today, the front end is digital, so it's fantastic. So like they're processing customers at a scale that does not increase their cost. But at the back end, that is where we have not automated that back end. And so what is happening, I feel like reconciliation, if something happens at an ATM or is a mistake or is an error, there are people who are actually going into the system to do that. Now, as I become more successful, if I'm doing like 1,000 transactions a day and next month I need 100,000, and there's an error rate of 1%, that error rate of 1% when it was 1,000 was only, I can't remember, it was 10. Now, at 100,000, it becomes over 1,000. Now that means that I need more people to actually do that. So as Spark, what we've done is like, listen, we have to automate our backend. We have to reinvest. We have to invest in robotic process automation, so that as we increase the speed of scale, we're also scaling reconciliation. We're scaling everything, so that we're removing the human element out of it. See, in any business, the more humans you have in a business, the higher the risk. And so that is why, like, even when you're starting a business, and if it can be a mom and pop shop, don't collect cash, collect electronic payments. You see them, because somebody has to collect that. Somebody has to collect that cash. Somebody has to collect that cash. And that, even things like, what I love, and I hope is going to explode in Nigeria, is QR code payments. I think it's a fantastic way to collect payments at a physical location in a cost-effective manner. There's no POS terminal. There's no need for electricity. There's no SIM card issue, and there's no education. All the person is doing is just scanning a barcode that you have set and designed, and that payment, you see that payment. As an owner of a business, I would say I want to be remote, but know exactly what's going on in my business. And for that to happen, those business processes must be set up that way. The business must be your business must be cashless. Your business must be mobile first philosophy. That way, when I say I want to be remote, what I'm saying again, I'm going back to what I'm saying. I want to be able to access to know exactly what is going on in my business. I want the people in my business to know that I know what is going on, so that I have information and they have information that I have information about the business, and so everybody does what they're supposed to do. So I mean, like my business today, I can be anywhere, and my colleagues know that I can dial into a meeting, I can jump in, I can jump out, I can access information, I can have a dialogue, and that information is at our fingertips. So like, if we want to talk about how the business was yesterday, you have that, it just takes us a minute and we can start talking about it. And that's how every business should start. How can I have access to my information immediately? And what do I need to do that? And really, it's not rocket science. It's it's those tools that we use every day. It's our mobile phone. I know, like they say, the mobile phone that we have today are more powerful than the computer that they went to the moon with. Our mobile phones, even the free applications on a high-end phone, right, can help you easily run your business. Easily.
Thank you so much. That's so much insight that even the mom and pop businesses can use. Now, as a way of refreshing the room, thank you so much, our audience, for joining us. And this is to remind you that in the next couple of minutes, we're going to be attending to your questions. So please use the question and answers part to drop in your question, or the chat box. And when it's time for the questions, I still have 2 more questions to pop to him. Then I will ask your question. Please continue to follow us and keep typing your question there, and I'm going to be reading the questions out to him. Now, moving on. With all those processes set in place, which are not that hard if we think through it and we bake it into the foundation of a business, whether it's small or big, there is need for marketing at the end of the day. So how does technology and the business processes you have built, how does it now sieve into your marketing process? Is marketing important, or the product is so good and people are going to just find it? So how do you do that? Audiences, analytics, and all that. So please, can you tell us a bit about the marketing aspect, technology, and scaling the business?
Okay, so marketing is, I think, marketing is about creating awareness, right? And what are you trying to make, and who are you trying to make aware, and what are you trying to let them know? And so for Sparkle, so let me use Sparkle as an example, which is a new business. I am new in the market, so I'm trying to create awareness. I need to make more noise than an established business. And I need to make noise in the places where I believe the people that I want will like my product. So if that the stage of knowing, okay, so I know that I'm digital. So I'm a digital only bank. I'm data driven. So that it means that I'm looking for people in digital spaces. They must use smartphones. That means they must have data. So they have a certain income profile. That's one. Secondly, I have to go to places where they would use my services. And since I'm in the payment business, but also in the giving them information business, or helping people manage their lifestyle, I mean, it's almost everywhere. So it is your Instagram, it is a social network. It is also places where it's education, it's lifestyle, so it's education, it's health, it's also food. So in all that space. Now, then what is your message? Your message is, one, why we're different, why we're different, what our products are, why our product is different from anybody. I want a unique selling point, and then why you should trust us. That's very, very important. Sometimes people don't talk about the soft issues. The soft issues are actually the hardest bit. How do you trust? How do you trust me? I'm just coming to the market. So one of the tips I give people, apart from the obvious, is listen, use social media, use Google advertisement. We did a lot of Google advertisement. I mean, like, one of our greatest success was that you market where you can get feedback about your marketing. It's back to information. Why do we use Google? Because Google, when I pay an advertiser in Google will give me feedback, a big database about the effect of your marketing, the words that people liked, the type of people that opened it, and suggestions for you. Those are powerful. So you can now take that in. So what I will say is, what I learned is that if I want to go and market in a place where I will not get data, first of all, I can go to, and it's that experimentation we're talking about. I will use Google, I will invest in Google and just say, okay, let me spend 10,000 Naira and doing Google marketing. And let me see what it gives me. From that insight, I can now go to, let's say, another platform, social media platform that does not give me this data, but I know exactly, okay, these are the kind of people that I need, right? And so where are they? So you know them. So if those are the people that are in the KG blog, then I go there. Not, I won't get that feedback, but I already have the basis for going to for going there. For marketing, so that is how we're marketing. That's how we're creating that awareness. And sometimes it's also, and what I'll tell you about marketing is, hey, Sparkle, we're new. So why should you trust me with your money? You can trust me with your money because you have to look for somebody that you can lean on. So it's just like any business today. If I want to go to see a customer, if I want to go and market somebody, I will find somebody who knows that person so that they can vouch for me. So they can say, since you trust them, you can trust me. And so when we started, like, it was very important that, like, we have a strategic relationship with Visa, with Microsoft. So they said, so like, if Visa and Microsoft can trust us, a big global company, surely we can't be that bad. Surely the people, our business model and everything is something that they they're confident with, that they will actually add their name to and say that we are collaborating with Spark. So that marketing, go and find somebody that can also boost your message. That's the word. Because when you see, okay, this guy, I don't know this guy, but I know this guy. So if this guy is vouching for this person or standing in the same space, they must be okay. I'll give it a try. Then of course, also marketing the existing customers. You have to market the existing customers. Right? You have to keep courting them. It's like, it's like if I've been married for 20 years, and my wife will tell me, Uzoma, you have to keep trusting me. You have to keep chasing me. Right? Because you just don't assume you're married. You will never go away. She can go away. You take it for granted. And the same thing about business. Don't take your customers for granted. Find out what's exciting them. Find out, and they're the easiest people to find out from. They're the biggest advocate as well. So you must continue marketing them. Sometimes in our organization, I keep saying to sometimes, what are existing customers? What are they doing, right? How do you know when they're actually going to go, or when they're about to go? And it's only data can tell you that, right? So if somebody is buying from you every day and suddenly from 5 days a week to 4 days, how do you know? What triggers have you put in place, right? To make sure that, what are the leading indicators that will say, okay, this person might go based on past experiences. This person,
but if you were doing it as paper, you will not have that insight.
Exactly, but that you will get it. You will get it eventually. But by that time, it might be too late. By the time somebody has done it on the Excel spreadsheet and that, it'll be too late. And that's the beauty about setting up your business processes to be digital, to be paperless. I cannot emphasize that. Don't even give paper receipts. When I was I remember when I was and find creative ways for people to accept electronic receipts. Even I remember, and this is what I learned when I went to a shop and I bought a camera. It was in the UK, and the guy says to me, "Let me email you your receipt, and attached to your receipt is your insurance for 1 year." And I thought, what a beautiful idea, because now I'll get an email with my receipt, and I will never lose that. The thing about when you're going shopping, they'll give you all the receipts with your insurance. Then you put it somewhere. When you're looking for it, but it's paper, right? And you might be somewhere else. You don't know whether you kept it in your drawer at home, your office space, bed. All you have to do, there's nothing. There's no receipt. My children's report cards. As soon as I get them, I scan them. Your phone has a scanner, a fantastic scanner. I scan them. I upload them to the cloud. And so when my study burned down 4 years ago, we had a fire in the house, and my whole study burned down. The only thing that I lost was the physical thing. Everything else, my pictures, my document, everything was in the cloud. All I had to do was suffer small, buy a new PC, downloaded it, back to normal. And that's one of those beauties. That is the real insurance. Digital
Technology is an insurance for your business. I like that.
Exactly.
Quotable quote. I like that. Even technology makes marketing smarter, which means that you're not doing spray and pray marketing. That's you spread your marketing and you go and pray that it works.
Exactly.
Spray and pray marketing will no longer happen when you digitalize your marketing. What about cost?
So, and the thing about it is like, so let me tell you, so marketing is an investment if you do it right, whether you succeed or not. So if I go and say, you know what, I think I'm going to spend XYZ on marketing, and then I will see the results. Was it successful or not? Who are the people that liked it? Who are the people that like it? So it means that that cost is an investment because I want information and insights. And so I know that I won't make that mistake again, right? And I won't make that mistake with a bigger bet. So it's a cost when you don't you spray and pray. It's a cost when you spray and pray, but when you diligently say, you know what, I want to, like, whoever you're marketing, and that's why that's one of the biggest challenges in marketing, you know. And like, we have lots of influencers, and influencers and followers are completely different. I keep telling people, if somebody has 50,000 followers, okay, very good. So if and then the guy wants to charge XYZ, okay, no problem. What is he going to give you back? It's not even about guaranteed customers. Like, are you going to give me insights as to people that were interested, what their profile was, where the demography was, what percentage said they said no? That's what I want. That's actually more valuable than customers. But your influencer, what is guaranteed is that I'm going to pay you. What is not guaranteed is how people are going to be converted and why they were not, and the information as to why they were not converted or why they converted. So there's a lot of, one has to be careful about who's an influencer and who has lots of followers. And a time is going to come very soon that people are going to be, small businesses too, are going to be making demand of these influencers. Okay, how do you know? So what is your success rate? If you go to Google, Google will tell you 10% for them. How can they show me it's 10%? But they're going to get there because for me to use your services, you must give me, I go back to that, you must give me the right information, right, to make a decision. I cannot pay you and come out without information. It's not sustainable into the future. And so for my influencer friends out there, you know, it's time to, if you want to get ahead in the competition, start putting
automate your influencing.
Start putting a process in place, right, to give back to the people who want to, which is information, and it can be done easily.
That's an alpha there. Uzoma just dropped an alpha for influencers. Take notes. If you want to beat the competitor out there, take a leave from Google. Show the prospective customers that you want to be influencer for, that these are the data I'm going to provide for you, and this is how I'm going to do this for you. And that comes back to using technology to set up the process of doing your business so that you stand out. It's easier for you to reach more customers and it's easier for you to scale. Wow, this has been an incredible conversation so far. Now, before I go on to the last question, there's a question here that is very related to something you have just discussed. Yeah. It says, what is the single technology tool or implementation that you feel has been the most impactful in terms of use of technology in managing your business at Sparkle?
The mobile phone.
The mobile phone.
Is that simple?
Why is that so?
Because everything that I need to approve, everything that I need to, so the mobile phone is the medium.
Do you also sign document on your mobile phone?
Of course, with my hands even. So everything, so like, that's why that first question you asked was very, very important about your business process must be mobile first. If it cannot be done on the mobile, don't bother doing it. If the application, if the application cannot be done on the mobile phone, don't bother. Because it means that you have to go to your desktop. You have to find a desktop, you have to find power, you have to find electricity. Your mobile phone is the gateway. That's the biggest technology tool. And it is not making phone, but if you look at the number of hours I spend talking to people, I don't. I'm either typing, chatting, signing off, reading stuff through that, drawing, So like for me, and like my colleague will tell you that I like to write. I like to write because it just helps me. And so all my mobile phone, every mobile phone that I've had has a stylus because even I'm sitting down, I think writing, I've always liked writing. So I used to buy a very expensive fountain pen, and then of course once I decided to be digital, there's no place for fountain pens. But I still have one because sometimes shit happens and then technology breaks down. In that time, the backup is the pen.
All right, thank you. You said something about the easiest person to sell to is the customer you already have in the funnel that is already buying from you. You don't want to let them go. You want to hear from them because you have automated your process using technology. You can easily spot a customer that is dissatisfied. Maybe if they have broken their purchasing or patronage cycle, maybe somebody used to buy from you every month and suddenly you've not seen him in 2 months. You can set up your business to alert you and you can know what to do. Yeah. Now, the next question I want to ask is, in interacting with customers and other stakeholders, maybe like suppliers that helps drive your business to achieve its aim, what are some of the CRM tools? What are some of the ways you are using technology to ensure this is done?
Okay, so we have, like I say, invested, we pay for, this Microsoft 365, very, very expensive. I used to wonder, why is it costing so much, right? But that's because it is packed, so I always say, so if you ask me today, what are the what is the must-have, two must-have things to start your business, right? If you want to be structured, one, invest in a good mobile phone. Two, invest in Office or Microsoft 365. Very, very key because it comes with Word. It comes with Word. It comes with first of all Office application, but it also comes with a lot of business applications. It comes with a lot of collaboration and also access to information. And you can now link it. So those are very key. And they also give you, but then again, there are many tools out there that CRM is very, very important because CRM, but there are different types of CRM tools. So you want to find ones that will help, that you can scale, that you can start small with, and then you can scale. But the most important thing is the CRM is a way. So how I was told about CRM can be Excel sheet, right? It can be putting data in place. But CRM is not a tool. It is actually a way of doing. It's a discipline of doing work, right? Of capturing. This is my customer. This is getting the. So I have a customer or have a customer. I get all the data. What's the important data about his profile? How old he is? What he does? What his hobbies are? Next, data capture. What are the activities that he's doing with me? How does that relate to his profile? Third, what is the customer lifetime value of this person? Right? Which is and that customer lifetime, so it's do I want to build relationships or do I want to build transactions with customers? Those things always determine because those are the things that will help you build your CRM. But the CRM, believe me, is just like Afar says, an Excel sheet. How you design it depends on what type of business you have, what you're trying to do, right? Because the CRM structure of someone in the pharmaceutical business is going to be different from somebody in the restaurant business. It's just going to be somebody because people go to pharmacies when they're sick, right? But I want to be the one that people go to pharmacies for either prevention or for cure. Those are the two things. So who are my prevention customers? Who are my prevention? And then what time of the year? So for example, towards the late part of the year, especially in the UK, for example, it's flu time. And so who are those people who will normally come and start getting their flu medications or whatever? If they're not coming, but you don't have to wait for them. That's the CRM. It's flu season. Time to get your stuff. So you actually have to engage and connect with the customers. You don't wait for them. And that's the thing about CRM. CRM allows you, whatever your CRM is, your CRM is your information management system of your customers. Now, what you do with that information depends on your strategy. Now, it is better to be more proactive. So it's like, okay, it's time. It's like one, you're selling a product, but two, what we try to do is that you have to also, in selling a product, you have to educate people. as well. So your CRM, yes, that's your whole marketing and your CRM, everything comes together, right? It is not just selling sometimes, you're also teaching. And in teaching, sometimes you open up people's mind to more products and services.
Thank
Right?
you. Spot on. Exactly what we're doing at Right Vest.
Yeah. So because people will not invest in what they don't know. People will not buy what they don't know. If you tell them, if I educate you and say, did you know that this is exactly that happened and you can use this? Oh, really? That's another product. But if you just decide, here, buy this, it's not going to work. So education is all part of selling, because education opens the mind and opportunity to more products and services that they will take from you.
Thank you so much. Now, let me go to see what some of the questions that our audience have been typing. We've been speaking to Uzoma, who is the MD of Sparkle. And just before I go through to what they're asking, somebody is asking here that what solution is Sparkle providing?
Okay,
Please, do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, very simply, we're providing two segments of people, individuals and small businesses. So for individuals, we're just providing a better way to do your financial services that meets your lifestyle, right, and help you do that. And that whole thing is for automating everything and also giving you the information to take the right decision. So it's, yes, you make payments, but how do you make those payments, right? You make payments, how do you make those payments? And then it's then when you've made those payments, so like if you go, so if you want to find out, for example, how much you spent on giving Jesse in the last 3 months, for example, you have to type his name in there, and then you see all the payments. So yes, we're a bank. First of all, we're a bank. I would say like we're a bank, but we're leveraging on technology to provide for our customers with the right information to make those payments, the right insights, right, to decide what decisions to make about their lifestyle. And on the business side, not only are we on the business side, we're providing you banking service, we're providing you banking services, but we're also providing business support services as well. So what is that businesses need? Yeah, people say businesses need access to finance, access to advisory services, and access to market, but they also need access to payroll. They need access to event management. They need access to their CRM, which is customer management, and they need access to taxation to be included. And so that's what Sparkle Business does. I've actually integrated all that into one platform. So everything you asked me today, everything we've spoken about today, right? Mm-hmm. Process, CRM, so CRM, everything is actually, Sparkle Business is about everything there. It's about information. So as a small business, and believe Sparkle Business allows you to scale as you go. Start off small. Think big, start small, accurately. Starting small, start small with Sparkle Business. You can manage your staff, your payroll, you can manage your inventory, you can do your invoicing, and of course you have information and insights about your customers to make better decisions all in one.
Is advisory included?
Not yet, but it is. So that is going to come for sure. But the advisory is also about so like one of advisory is about two types of advice. Because we're a retail business, like the advice we give you is just our educational material that we put out there. So like, and that's why, so like advisory is like what you guys do at Rivers Instagram page, where you have these like 1 minute educations. You're telling people, you're advising people on how to manage their stuff. So that's the type of advisory that we would do. Now we're actually building our chatbot that is actually going to be a repository. So we use artificial intelligence to actually do that.
All right, thank you so much. Now there is a question here. Our consumers, our audience, and our community members that are hoping to or building businesses, they've developed a soft spot for Sparkle. Someone is here saying, I have an observation about Sparkle platform verification technology.
Yeah.
The facial verification feature is making it difficult for potential customers like myself from signing up. I'm always stuck at that point.
So yes, we had a few challenges, and those challenges are one, because of the phone as well. So we find that, we're working with a third-party supplier on that to try and improve the algorithm of all kinds of phones as well. So we have found that for some phones, I don't know which phone you're using, for a range of phones, it works very well with some phones. Some other phones, it doesn't work. It might not work well. But this is a new facial recognition that we've started because it's actually more secure. And so, like, bear with us. I think what you need to do is make sure that you you take that picture in the best possible light. But if you're still having any problem, just send us a message at support@sparkle.ng, and then one of our technical engineers will help you through that.
All right. Now, when people doing small businesses in Nigeria are trying to automate their businesses and go online, maybe to the cloud and all that, there is the issue of security and being exposed. And this is why many people still go paperless. Now, there's a question here. Someone says, I would like to know the tech that Sparkle is using to secure its platform, more like security,
Yeah.
And if you have something to say about how small businesses can also ensure that even while they're going to use technology, they should not neglect security.
Yeah. I mean, so I would say that because we're a financial institution, that there are certain cybersecurity
standard
that we must have. So, like, we have, because we're cards, we have PC DSS, and because we also have I can't remember the names, but I know that we have to go through a few standards to protect our customers. Now, in the end, right? In the end of it all, everything is about keeping your information secure. Everything. So everything that we're paying for, whether it's PCDSS, making sure that what are the things that would cause information leakage. So there's and it always boils down to people. People are actually the people. So, like, one, passwords. So, like, the gateway to all your information on your business about where your card or how people can access your passwords, right? So where do you store them? How do you keep them? How often do you change them? Who are the people that you actually employ? What is the process? So, by the way, this security starts from the physical. Who are you employing? How did you employ them? What is your background? Did you do background checks? How did you verify? How did you authenticate what they told you and all that? How do you know they went to school? So it doesn't start from the cloud. By the way, security starts from the physical. So it's people, then your processes. How do you ensure that there's no information leaking your processes? Who has authority to write checks, for example, in those days, or to make those payments? So really, and then as your business gets bigger, then you get experts in, right? Because they see it from different perspective. But if I'm starting small today, is who are people that I've hired? How do I make sure that the right people have access to the right information to do what they need? And that is what I would advise.
All right.
So what I'm saying is that technology is actually simple. So it's not about getting an app, or sometimes it's actually about just common sense things that you would do normally. Because what digital is a more, so digital is like what? So if you take water, you have ice, you have water, and then water changes to gas. Gas spreads faster than water, and water spreads faster than ice, right? So digital is a gaseous form of physical. And so if you make a mistake in the physical, on the gaseous state, it's going to be worse if you multiply. But if you get it right, you also benefit positively.
Thank you very much. So far, so good. Automating your businesses, leveraging on technology can help your business to scale, can help you have a good foundation for your business. You can be able to handle things like processing your business payment cheaply, because you don't have to hire a lot of people to do that for you, handle cash, take it to the bank, risk and all that. Your tax reporting is a lot easier. Customer feedback is also easier to do. And then you can keep getting more and more people into the funnel without increasing the cost of customer acquisition. Now, this event of today has been brought to you by Rise. We are a stress-free wealth management company in global asset. We are helping people to understand that you don't just save your money in cash. You use your money to buy assets. Assets are things you buy that with time, they appreciate in value, whereas inflation eats into cash saved in the bank. So even though you have some cash in the bank for your use, we are saying buy global assets. You can have a house in Cincinnati in the US. You can have a house in New York, in Austin, by investing on Rise. At least from a minimum of 5,000 Naira, you can have access to own real estate, a fraction of real estate. You can have not just real estate, you can invest in US stocks, and you can invest in fixed income. And this is very possible. You can check the chat box. How you can log in to learn more about Rise and be a member. Most importantly, we have an investment club on Telegram where every week we dish out financial literacy information. There are people who have been with us on this journey for the past 2 years, and they have been richly blessed doing better things with their finances. Uzoma, thank you so much for being our guest on today's program. And I'm sure our guests have also been richly blessed. So if you're doing your business already, use some of this information. Do an audit of your business processes. Don't see technology as an expensive thing. Yes, setting it up might be expensive, but the moment you set it up and it begins to automate itself, things start to work very well. Look at, for instance, you said something about being mobile, automating the process. You are in Lagos. I am in I'm in the UK. Another person on this call is in the US, and the businesses is going on. We are educating and enlightening our customers, even as RiseVest is not entirely small, but it is a simple process that everyone can apply. So let me check before we wrap it up. Before I ask you to give us your concluding remark, let me see if there's another question here. Does Sparkle have products for student entrepreneurs? If so, what partnership is in place to educate young entrepreneurs in the university? That's Ediom Udo. That's for you.
And we don't have that yet. Like we're a year old, and one of the things we're doing is first of all focusing on the products and services that we think are key right now. Now, as we go along our product roadmap, we'll start to. One of the things that we do is co-create with our market. So we will build products based on the demand and what people want, and not what we think, but the combination of what our customers want or what they're doing with our products. So that we're not doing yet.
All right. Thank you so much. And this will be the wrap of our monthly investment club this month. And just as an alpha, the Rise Investment Club meeting might be coming to a city near you very soon. So if you want to be able to find out about this and many more, please do well to hit on the link in the chat box, follow RiseVest on Twitter, on Instagram, and most importantly, start saving, start building your wealth in global assets today. And last word from you, Uzoma, before we go.
Oh, last word is information is the basis of competition now, and it's important that you set up your business that gives you access to information at your fingertips when you need it. And the only way to do that is leveraging on technology, investing in technology, invest in technology through your business so that you have access to that information to make a decision. And really, that's the bottom line. And if I cannot access even the information I need about my staff, my colleagues, my customers, or anything that happens in business within 30 minutes, there's something wrong with my process. Change it. So information, very, very key. And quality of information is, like garbage in, garbage out, whole thing.
Right. Thank you very much. And friends and community members, we'll see you again next month, last Saturday of the month. Make it a date. Bye for now, guys. Bye. Thank you, Uzoma.
Thank you.
Yep.